How can companies go about protecting the brand, wanting people to have a consistent brand experience when they walk into a store, but still empowering each store team, each store employee to use their intuition and their brain and their skills to offer that service without it being so scripted?
I think I have a couple of examples. One is Lush has a pretty fluid return policy. It's really just like, you aren't happy, come back. And one of the things that that does is it allows employees to really connect with the customer, understand what was wrong, and not think of it, the interaction through the lens of, I have to get the customer or myself or this conversation to this end goal. It's more about wherever this conversation leads me is okay. And really just have a great conversation with a customer and know that you can make them leave happy. Whereas when you have a rigid return policy, but all the employees know that if the customer screams enough and contacts the right person, you're going to make us do the return anyway, which now just makes us look bad at the store. It actually makes the company look bad, in my opinion, but it also makes the store look terrible. And it also reinforces this idea to customers. If I just yell, I'll get what I want. And I think one of the companies I worked for, their return policy was a little bit less black and white. Theirs was more, the customer should leave happy, period. But here's, for business reasons, we can't just accept every return that comes in the door because that's bad for business. It hurts our bottom line. We take a lot of care in our product. It's very high priced, etc. So here's the policy. We are never to share the policy with the customer. This was interesting because we want you to be able to remain fluid and use your best judgment. And they had a lot of scenarios in the guideline, but there was no like, this is a hard and fast rule. And I think those are the things that are best for the customer. It's also best for the employees because when you put them in a place where it's really black and white, what you're doing is putting people on the defense right away. And it's funny because a lot of companies now have de-escalation training. And that de-escalation training is in direct conflict sometimes with the rigid rules of how to deal with a client return. Because you're like, okay, so I can't do all this, but then if they get escalated, it's a lot of conflicting messaging.
I love that example because it's not black and white. The customers should leave happy, and then an inherent sense of, look, obviously this isn't a free for all. There have to be some. I would love to think that we can live in a world where that's enough. And then you're empowered to determine what's next, right?
And I think if your store, if you empower your team and they do too many returns, right? Let's like play the tape through to the end. This is where, again, trusting your leaders, giving them the tools and making sure that they are trained in business acumen. Because what if they do too many returns and now you're looking at profit and loss statement and you're seeing that line item as too high? That's when you turn around and it's actually a sales problem, not a return problem. So what that means is your sales team is being too pushy and selling people things they either don't know they don't like or don't need or don't want in the end. And that's why you're facing a high need of returns. My logic is there's going to always be something in the P&L that tells you what too much of something is doing to another line. And you manage that and work backwards. Not try to protect that line item so heavily that you just ruin the customer experience or employee experience.
That's exactly it. This obsession with trying to preemptively not have this problem, I think, is creating more expensive problems.
Yeah. I mean, a customer being angry and going online and potentially losing you more business is a lot more expensive than even 2% more waste than you had last year. So it's easier to eventually figure out a way to lower waste than it is to grow back customers.